Hey guys, this is JPR with a new tutorial. Today I'll be showing you how to make a proxy box. So sometimes you have an object in a scene that's very high polyed and you want to work quickly. So you would, in order to animate and see things real time in your viewport, you would sometimes want a proxy. So in this setup, we have a sphere, and this cube down here is will respond to its size. So if we size this up, we see that the sphere is moving with or the cube is moving with the sphere. If we bend it, we see that it maintains its shape, its overall shape. So let's get in a new scene to show you how I made this. We'll make a cube, we'll make a sphere, make them both editable. We'll make a espresso tag. So the first thing we need is to get the information of the bounding box of the sphere. So there's a node called bounding box, which will help us out in this tutorial. We'll bring in the sphere. I'll start this out from scratch so you can see where I'm starting from. So we'll go to System Operation Espresso, General, and then Bounding Box. So we're going to plug in the object to the bounding box because we're defining what object it is. We're going to delete these three nodes. We don't need them. Now we're just going to pull in points 1 through 8. Just make sure they're all there. All right. Expand this. Next thing we need to do is plug this information into the cube, so it knows that point 1 and point 2, point 3, and so on will be connected to these. So bring in the cube. We're going to bring in a point node right here. Bring in the object or object output. Plug in here. Define what object we want. We'll bring down here. Get the point position. Regularly you would just have to duplicate this 8 times and then plug in this point to each one, make sure the point index is defined correctly. But I figured out a way to make that process much easier and not having to duplicate. So the way we do that is we bring in under logic there is a condition. We're going to make sure there's the same amount of inputs as there is box points. So there needs to be 8. So it's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we'll plug into each one. Just a little bit of manual labor, but much quicker. So that's all set up. Other thing we have to make sure from this condition node, it is set to, the data type is set to real. We want to make sure it's vector because that's what's being outputted out from the bounding box. And now we need to get an iterator or iteration node so we could repeat this process 8 times and know that point box 1 goes to the index point of 1 on the cube, and 2 to 2, and so on. So in programming language, usually it starts with 0, and then it will go. So there's 8 of these, but it starts from 0, so we'll go to 7 instead of to 8. So we're repeating the process 8 times, but it will start from 0, so it will go to 7. So we'll plug this into the switch and then plug this into the point index, and then we're going to make sure that the output goes to the point position because that's what we want. Now this should all work. There's okay. Oh, we actually set it wrong to the wrong one. You guys probably saw that, but make sure we'll go to vector. So now it is all set up. So if we'll go in wireframe mode, we scale up this sphere, and then the cube will respond to it. And then let's just say we put a bend deformer in. You actually notice if you bend it, the the box won't respond, it's because in the bounding box you want to make sure it's using its deform point. So we check that on, and now it will respond correctly. And one last thing, if you notice, I go here and I undo, the bounding box is still to its last state. What we want to do is make sure this is checked to generator. So this will, react quickly. It would process it quickly. The priorities are set up. So if we undo that, we see that it responds instantly. So hopefully you find this useful. It definitely helps up your workflow sometimes if there's something that's just kind of bogging you down in the viewport. So until the next tutorial, I will see you guys then.